Yo, it's your boy Vegabomber, and welcome to Vegabomber Land. So you know what's up. I saw another movie today, and this movie blew me away. The movie I'm speaking about is Hell or High Water. Now, Hell or High Water was directed by David McKinney, but the writer you may know a little bit more. The writer wrote the movie last year called Sicario. I'm talking about Taylor Sheridan. And I'll tell you this, Taylor Sheridan knows how to write movies. He knows how to write dialogues, because this movie was absolutely incredible. So what is Hell or High Water about? Well, this movie is about two brothers. One that's pretty smart, pretty calculating. The other one, who's kind of stupid, actually ends up in jail, very thuggish, very roguish, and somewhat of a hothead. But these two brothers are in the same situation. They both have a ranch that basically their mother, when their mother dies, leaves to them, and somehow, because she's behind on all these payments, they can't take care of it because the bank has basically set it up to where she could never get ahead and never win. So now they're put in a situation. They're angry, they're upset, they're mad, and they're broke. So then they go ahead and start the great heist. This is kind of like a new old Western heist movie, and it scores. It delivers on every end. So what did I like about this film? Well, let me tell you, pretty much everything. In fact, I'm still trying to think about what parts of this movie maybe I didn't like or enjoy that much, and I'm a hard time coming up with some of them. But let me just tell you about what was great about this film. Let me start with the easiest thing, and that would be the performances. I would say that Academy Award winning Jeff Bridges does a great job playing a grizzled veteran who's a Texas Ranger, who has also a buddy, a sidekick who's riding with him, and just the banter between those two is just good old, just country Southern charm. The way they're just being able to throw barbs at each other and just take it, and they're just kind of throwing each other under the bus, and it's just fun. It's not too over the top, but it's just fun. It gives you an idea. But Jeff Bridges is kind of like this Columbo character. If you don't know who Columbo is, Google it. Google Columbo. That's right, and you'll understand. So he's trying to piece together the breadcrumbs from what the brothers are somewhat leaving behind to try to figure out what's the correlation here, what's going on, how are they doing this, and the movie just handles it well. Jeff Bridges, again, Oscar-worthy performance for sure. I would also say that Chris Pine, he's at this point, I'm really starting to enjoy his style, the way he's playing. He's coming into his own. At no time in this movie did I think I was watching Captain Kirk from Star Trek. Not at all. He was gritty, he was grisly, and he was playing just a good old country boy from West Texas. And by the way, if he'd had a fake Texas accent, I'd have picked up on it. I know a little something about Texas. Just saying. But wonderful job, great job. It was believable, it had depth, it had character, and I think that also helps when you have a good script. I'll also say that Ben Foster, who I've been watching since the first time I ever saw him, which was in 3:10 to Yuma, another Western, and also when he was in Lone Survivor. I loved him in that movie as well, but in this movie he gets to shine even a little bit more. He's got that kind of, that quiet, calm intensity about him, who could go volatile at any moment. Plus his barbs, his wittiness is sharp, it's on point. Plus this character you kind of feel for. You understand why he ended up in jail, and then kind of how he's kind of got that hard knock life syndrome going on with him. Very much like JC talks about, it's a hard knock life. You get the sense that his character Tanner knows about a hard knock life, and he sells it well. So Ben Foster does a great job as well. What's interesting though is, as great as their performance was, the scene stiller was actually someone who I don't know. It's an actress who's just got this small role in the film. She's basically playing a waitress in this, it's a barbecue or steak joint that's right across the street from this bank that the Texas Rangers are using to stake out as they're waiting for the guys to kind of hopefully come rob the bank, they think. And so this waitress, if you've ever been in the customer service industry, or if you've ever waited tables, you get her attitude. And this waitress lays it on, and it's perfect. It's not over the top. It's just scene still. I mean, you remember it, and it's hilarious at the same time, very poignant, and telling you something about the life and how people are feeling in West Texas when people just are broke and they're poor, and they don't have money for loans, and they're just trying to get by. So you see it even permeated in the service industry folks, and that's something. So I thought that was incredible. Now I'll just say the execution in this film is excellent. The pacing is good, the tone is good, it's not uneven, it's not trying to be funny all of a sudden or trying to be serious all of a sudden. The tone works, the pacing is excellent, and I would just say that the story itself is brilliant, because on the surface it sounds like a simple story, right? It sounds like it's just a heist movie, which it is. And it sounds like it's a, good guys and the cop has to stop them, cops and robber film. To a degree, it is. However, the execution, though, is what brings it home. So when a movie, even though it may use some familiar, tropes or themes, as long as it's told well and the characters are well developed, you can get on board, and you will find yourself getting on board with this film, because that was excellent. And I got to tell you, the third act, which is the part that most films fall down on, this film has no problem with its third act. The third act was tight in this film. It didn't all of a sudden just start throwing a whole bunch of action just for the sake of action. We got to pick it up because we're about to close. It did none of that. What it did is it started to reveal just a little bit more as to what's causing these boys, who, at least one of the brothers, played by Chris Pine, what was his name, Toby. It gives you more of a sense of why he's doing what he's doing, because at first you don't really know why, but they leave it in there and then they start to reveal. And when they start to reveal everything, then it starts to become almost like a thriller through him trying to figure out, well, who's really the good guy, who's really the bad guy here, right? I mean, at some point you question that. So that's pretty good. It reminds me of Civil War, when you question Team Cap, Team Tony, which one's more right than maybe wrong. And this one, you almost kind of understand, even though they're robbing banks. So this film makes you wrestle with that. Plus it just talks about the whole backdrop, the idea, here's this big wide open space in Texas and what they're showing you, and it's beautifully shot, by the way. And then you get to understand how even the backdrop is some of the texture for this story. So I don't know, this movie to me was incredible, and in fact it is the best movie I've seen this year thus far. And I loved Civil War, and I also loved Eye in the Sky, but I have to say, at this moment right now, this is the best movie I've seen. And that's no hyperbole, folks. That's not me trying to hype it up. This is really what it was. I thoroughly enjoyed my whole experience sitting down watching this film. In fact, when it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm buying it. I don't buy a lot of Blu-rays. I have a few. You see some of them back up here now. I have a few, but for me to want to buy a Blu-ray means you had to have done something right. It's a film that I could pull out and show people, and it'd be a good time. It wouldn't be something that everybody would guess or already know everything about. So I got to tell you, this movie is definitely, it's the deal. It's for real, and I'm glad that we have a movie like this. So you might be saying, well, where does this film rank in terms of other movies like it, or what movies is it like? What comes to mind to me might be something like, Sicario to a degree, which, of course, the same writer. I think it's a step better than Sicario, and Sicario was a good sleeper hit for me last year. I loved that movie. In fact, I own it as well. No Country for Old Men. That might be another thing you might compare it to. I think it's even better than No Country for Old Men. And I would say Bridges is better than Tommy Lee Jones playing kind of the same character in a way. I'd have to say that. Bridges is absolutely phenomenal in this movie. So I'm just telling you right now, you got to go see this movie. Don't walk, run to the theater, and then bring your friends and see it a couple of times, and just sit back and enjoy storytelling at its finest, because that's exactly what this movie is. So what's my scale? Well, here in Vegabomber land, a movie's either great or it's not great. A movie's either blown up or it needs to get blown up. And I'll tell you right now, this movie is definitely blowing up. That's right. You can see this movie, you can enjoy this movie, and again, don't waste any more time. Just go see this film. You gotta go support the good films, because you really can't complain about the mediocre films if you won't support the good films. And this, my brother, is one of the good films. Yeah. Anyway, it's your boy Vegabomber, and I'm out. That's over the wall. That one's over the wall.